Good afternoon, and thank you for coming to the City Council meeting for the City of Manitou Falls. And I would call this meeting to order and ask all to please arise and pledge allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Apologize for my voice. I got caught up in the revelry of the all-class reunion this weekend, and it's a little bit hoarse today. Please bear with me. The agenda before you has one addition. It's a opportunity that came up very quickly, and while the citizens haven't had an opportunity to be aware of the expenditure that the council may make, this is one of those items that we do need to consider. Your pleasure with the agenda and the addition.
Move on the agenda with the addition.
Motion by Councillor Droba.
I'll second that.
Second by Councillor Jackson to approve the agenda with the addition.
I know the surrounding circumstances on that, so.
Very good. Discussion on the motion or the agenda? Hearing none, question?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Motion is carried and agenda is approved with the addition. Thank you. We'll move to the minutes of the August 1st regular City Council meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes, Mr. Mayor.
Motion by Councillor Jackson to approve. Second by Councillor Briggs. Discussion on the motion or the minutes? None. Question?
Aye.
Councillor Jackson, your vote.
Yes.
And I'll vote yes.
Sorry.
Motion is carried unanimously and the minutes are approved. Thank you. And then we have the special meeting of August 10 of the City Council and those minutes for your consideration.
So moved.
Motion by Councillor Briggs to approve.
I'll second.
Second by Councillor Kaler. Discussion on the motion or the minutes? Question?
Aye.
Aye.
I vote yes. Motion is carried. Minutes for August 10 are approved. Thank you. Move to the resolution regarding transfers and payable claims. We have to Fund Number 101, the General Fund from the Water and Sewer Fund, $17,715 to be transferred. To Fund Number 401, Permanent Improvement from the Water and Sewer Fund, $16,668. And to Fund Number 403, Reserve for Capital Outlay from the Water and Sewer Fund, $17,428.
I'll move.
Accept your motion, Councillor Kaler. Just for the record, accounts payable claims for the city are $247,494.94. Airport Commission claims of $4,225.48. And Library Board claims of $4,620.29. And accept Councillor Kaler's motion to adopt the resolution approving the transfers and the claims.
I'll second.
Second by Councillor Jackson. Discussion on the motion or the resolution? Question?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion is passed, resolution is adopted, and the transfers and the claims are approved for payment. Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to approach the council at this time that's not on the agenda? If not, there's another opportunity at the end of the meeting. We'll move to opening of bids, and we have the purchase of 3 Stryker Power Pro XT stretchers. These are 3 Stryker Power Load systems and the installation by PSV for $111,514.62, including a surplus kit and trade-in discount, and we have a different figure there. It's $9,940. is the trade-in discount. These are going to be paid from the ambulance capital outlay furnishings and equipment line item. The 3 stretchers will be used on the ambulances. Pleasure with the approving that purchase.
I'll move, Mr. Mayor, to approve that purchase.
Motion by Councillor Jacksaw to approve the purchase.
I'll second.
Second by Councillor Droba. Discussion on the motion or the purchase of the stretchers. Hearing none, we'll call a question.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion is carried, and the approval of the purchase of these 3 stretchers is care of. Thank you. We'll move to new business. Item number 1 is to consider the request for a fun run from Falls High School along 11th Street, sponsored by PBS, Positive Behavior Intervention and Support Program, as a fundraiser to take place on September 26, 2016, in conjunction with the Falls High School homecoming activities. Mr. Mark Glowak and Mr. Jay Boyle are here. If you gentlemen would like to come up to the table up here. Make any presentation and be open to any questions, please.
Well, you did just a pretty good introduction there. The PBIS programs at the high school and the elementary, it stands for Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports. And so what they are it's a way to try to intervene before students get into trouble. Instead of just expecting them to behave the proper way, it's about teaching them, showing what our expectations are for proper behavior, and then rewarding the students when they present those, or when they live up to those expectations. So as part of the rewards program, we use funds to buy prizes, do different activities for certain grades that raise the most, what we call power tickets and what they call pride tickets at the elementary, and things like that. So at the start of this year, looking at fundraising things that we can do and trying to come up with a yearly thing that we can do so we do not need to keep asking businesses for funds so much, was the idea of this run, which we decided it would be good to coincide with homecoming. And there's different ideas we've had about it. We kind of might like expand to in the future, such as doing teams, doing dress-up things for it, things like that. But for at the moment, we're looking at just establishing the run and charging an entry fee for people, and then taking other donations as a fundraiser for our PBIS programs, and then splitting that money between the elementary PBIS program and the high school PBIS program. When we were considering this, there also is part of homecoming a bonfire that night that takes place on the side of Bronco Arena. So we figured doing it right at the high school would be the nicest thing to do. And the reason we are asking about using 11th Street is because it's lighted, and this would be what they call a glow run. So we would be purchasing glow sticks, glow collars, that type of things for the kids, and that would be part they'd get for their entrance fee, and they'd have that then for the run and for the bonfire that would come after that. So that's my general introduction.
Great, very well done. Questions for instructors Boyle or Glowak? I guess I have one. It appears that it would be over a period of about an hour.
About an hour, yeah. We were going to do 3 runs, and we were going to start at 7, and we were doing 3 runs for different age groups. So we were going to do a quarter-mile run, a half-mile run, and a mile run, with them running down and back. So the quarter-mile run, we'd only need 1/8 of a mile. The half-mile run, we'd need a quarter mile. For the full 1-mile run, which should not take more than 25 minutes, I would say, for a mile run. That's if someone were to walk it slowly, they should be able to do it in 25 minutes. We would need to block off a half mile, which I believe Alex put in the letter. She measured it out, how far down we would need to go. I believe the streets marked in that letter.
So for the youngest, they would do the quarter mile, and
We didn't want to put, we had thought about that. We didn't want to put a grade level on it, because if there's a kid that's a 4th grader and they love to run and they run with their parents and they want to do the mile run, we want to make them available to do that. So we just said, here's the 3 runs, but yes, that was the idea behind it.
for some of us older folks, the quarter mile would be
If
okay.
you want it, yeah, absolutely, that would be fine.
Okay, great. Sounds like a very well thought out event, and So we would just need to maybe provide some barricades on the avenues.
Right, and
on
then
11th
the
Street.
thought had been, and I'm not sure, I mean, we're asking you guys what our availability of blocking off that street is. And I'm not sure about that, so that's where we would be looking for input from you guys on our availability to do that. If we could block off the entire street for the hour, that would definitely be ideal. That would allow the elementary kids and everyone else that's just watching it to just line the streets and cheer everybody on. So that would, from my perspective, organizing it would be the best thing for us.
There's an alley down each side of those blocks, so people could still get at their home.
Oh, yes, yep,
Yeah.
yep. And I guess, would you want escort for each of the events?
I don't think we'd need an escort as far as the car out in front of everybody, especially if the street was blocked off, with it only being a half mile and then back. But police presence, obviously, would be appreciated.
Because I seen that you're going to have a bike leading the...
That was a thought that we had.
Which
Is
would be a
just
good
bike.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to lead where they're going.
Yep.
I certainly would consider that we block off the street for an hour, you
If we
said.
did block off the street, though, would we need to block it off all the way back to the stoplight? Because you wouldn't want cars turning in there, because the first exit they'd have is home lane, so we'd have to block it off all the way to the...
Right. The stoplight down, I believe it's 4 intersections, I think, is what
Right,
we
to the
had.
1000 block, it says
Right.
here, so... I would move to block the road.
Okay, motion by Councilor Droba to approve the fun run and the blocking of the street, 11th Street.
I'll second.
And second by Councilor Jacksaw. Chief Maston, do you have any concerns, any input?
Like I said, we'd have to block off the turn coming in from Highway 71, and we'd then have to go down to, I believe it was the 1000 block, so it's about the 10th Avenue. So it's those first 4 blocks of 11th Street, just crossing 11th Street.
We would cross 11th Avenue.
Yes. One, that would be one.
So how do the people that live on 11th Street on the south side of the road get home?
Have to turn off at
8th Avenue and come around.
I guess there isn't an alley that runs on that south side of the road. Right, so the people that lived right on 11th Street, they wouldn't be able to park at their house for that hour.
or how many blocks? So just a couple blocks there, right?
Well, it's south highway to 10th Avenue.
10th Avenue.
Yeah, correctly. So
Right.
There's an alley that picks up though about what?
Not on the south
Out
side.
on the south side of 11th Street.
For about 3 blocks, there would be an issue.
And then we could hand-bill those folks and let them know that the street will be blocked for 1 hour.
The school, us on that PBIS committee would be happy to do that.
Very good. Further questions or discussion? All right, question.
Aye.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Approval is given for the fun run, and we will work with the school district to make it a success.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Item number 2 under new business is to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Couchiching Area Prevention in Education Coalition and the International Falls Police Department. Stephanie Turbin, would you please come forward? Thank you.
So last summer, we kind of officially got the Couchiching Area Prevention and Education Coalition up and running. We call it the CAPE Coalition for short, because it's a lot to say. So we had Lindsay Barnhart from Public Health kind of actually get it started in thinking of the high school getting a prevention grant, and at the same time the college received a prevention grant for alcohol and marijuana. So we decided to join forces. So the college's grant has been running for a year now, and so we've spent the last year kind of collecting data and kind of deciding what would be our best prevention methods. And one of them that we came up with was as compliance checks, and that's an environmental prevention strategy. So it's just, if we can limit one way to access alcohol for people who are underage, that's, one less source that they have. And the high school's grant is officially started July 1st, and it will run for the next 5 years, and compliance checks is also one of their strategies through the grant that is kind of a mandatory thing for their grant. So I wanted to make that clear. I kind of tried to put that in the little memo that went with this, just so it's kind of clear. So the college has 3 more years of the grant, and the high school has 5 more years. So for a total of 5 years, for sure, we'll have funding to have compliance checks in International Falls, and then also the county, looking out towards like Rainier and other places in the county. We're hoping, working with Perrin, that we can do compliance checks in other places around the county. So this is just the memorandum of understanding of with the police department, and kind of what they would do, what we will do, and making sure that they get reimbursed for any overtime expenses and like training expenses that would come along with doing the compliance checks. And basically the process, if this all goes through, is we will be drafting a letter from Chief Maston and from Perrin with the Sheriff's Department, letting every business know that compliance checks will be happening within the next year, and just kind of a reminder of why it's important to keep our community safe. And it is a safety thing. It's not just trying to catch them doing things wrong. And then I was going to follow that up with a phone call just to see if they have concerns about the checks, if they have questions about the checks, and then about the responsible beverage server training that the coalition is offering for free. So if they kind of have any challenges with getting people there, hopefully we can troubleshoot. Like, it is free, so hopefully we can get a lot of people wanting to take the training, just so they're people who serve and sell alcohol can have some training on how to check IDs, what to look for, what are acceptable use, or IDs that you can use, and then just what oversale means, if somebody's overly intoxicated, what that means, that kind of a thing. So.
Very helpful. Thank you. Chief Maston, any comments you'd like to make with regard to the memorandum?
Went through with
Good questions on the part of the council for Stephanie or Chief Maston?
If a business wanted to get involved in the employee training, or who would they contact and how would they do that?
They would contact me. I would set that up. So we'll put that in the letter, and we're planning on offering our first training in September, and then we're going to have every other month trainings. So to start out with, I kind of wanted to get a feel for what times would work for businesses, if they're looking at, is the night better, is a Sunday better, like, just what kind of time and day, and then we'll set it up. We have 5 trainers in the community who have been trained in doing that.
So I got to start carrying my ID? On the occasion that I'd be interested in any beverages.
Well, you look over 21.
Right.
I think you do.
I have been carded in the last year, and I was like in shock. I said, "You got to be kidding me!" They had some rule that they carded everybody regardless.
most of the servers may already know you.
I could have just been sneaking through all this time. Pays to tip.
Pleasure with the approval of the memorandum of understanding.
I would move on the approval.
I'll second.
Motion by Councillor Droba, second by Councillor Jacksaw. Approve the memorandum. Discussion or further discussion with regard to the memorandum or the motion?
I would just point out that the law enforcement people and myself and the county attorney have all been working with Stephanie to put together a good program, and it's really an opportunity for the community. And the whole process is so that we do it right. We're not trying to catch people breaking the law. I mean, that may occur, but that's not really our goal. Our goal is to educate them to make sure they're following those instructions. So, that this funding's available.
Great. Thank you. Further points or discussion with regard to the motion or the memorandum? Question?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion is carried. Memorandum is approved. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Item number 3 under new business is to approve the temporary wage change for administrative support specialist.
I'll move.
Motion by Councillor Kaler to approve.
Second.
Second by Councillor Briggs. Discussion on the motion or the wage change? Question?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Motion is carried and the wage change is approved. Thank you. Item number 4 is to adopt the resolution approving the routine maintenance agreement with the State of Minnesota Department of Transportation for maintenance of trunk highways number 11, 53, and 71 within the City of International Falls. Your pleasure with that resolution.
Move.
Motion by Councillor Briggs to approve.
I'll second.
Second by Councillor Kaler. Question on the motion or the resolution? Hearing none, question.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion is carried. Resolution is adopted. Thank you. Item number 5 is to approve the joint powers agreement with the School District 361, establishing a joint recreation commission.
I would move with the recommendations as presented by the city administrator.
Motion by Councillor Droba to approve the joint powers agreement with those changes proposed by the city administrator in establishing the joint recreation commission with the school district.
I second.
Second by Councillor Jacksaw. Discussion on the motion or the joint powers agreement? Question?
Aye.
Aye.
I vote yes. Motion is carried and agreement is approved. Thank you. Item number 6 is the addition to the agenda, and that's the approve the purchase of a 1984 GMC 7000 pumper from a private party for the street department and backup for the fire department in the amount of $2,500, payable from line item 402.
I'm so ridiculously excited about this, I will make the motion.
Councillor Droba, accept your motion.
I'll second.
Second by Councillor Kaler to make the purchase. Discussion on the motion or the purchase of the pumper truck.
Sounds like a good deal.
I would just like to point out that the fact that they found it online and it's going to be able to help out with the downtown maintenance of the streets and whatever else they're doing down there to keep the city looking great, I think it's a great investment.
Certainly will make the street department more efficient. Further discussion? Question?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion is carried and purchase is approved. Thank you. Any other business under new business? Hearing none, we'll go to reports of boards, committees, and department heads. City Administrator.
Report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. I was out of the area last week for drug court training in Reno, Nevada, Monday through Thursday, and that was back with lots of ideas and things that I think are going to. I'd like to also advise the council that we did receive the signed documentation from the state of Minnesota releasing property that we're in the process of buying from their program. So now that can close and tomorrow morning, putting the documentation and I have.
2 pieces of news. Thank you. Thank you, City Attorney. Chief Maston.
Nothing to pay, Mr. Mayor.
Chief Manassa.
Nothing to report today.
We'll then move to reports of the mayor, council committees, boards, and commissions.
I'd just like to point out, last week, Chief Manassa was kind enough to take me around the community and look at some more blight things, and I'll tell you what, him and the building inspector have a really tough job. It was very eye-opening seeing the differences between properties within, 2 blocks. I mean, it has a heck of a job. I'll just leave it at that. There's a lot of little things that you could be blighting people on, and then there's big ones that are big issues. But it was very educational, and I want to say thank you for your time. That was very good, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. Other reports?
Just want to remind everybody that the garbage pickup for the south part of Center Ward will be August 27th. And it's on the agenda for this month.
Thank you. I would like to take this opportunity to, on behalf of the tri-chairs of the Falls High School all-class reunion, to thank Ted Brokaw, Bill Tomzak, Chief Maston, Captain Lynch, all the city full-time and part-time employees for the outstanding work they did in preparing the city, the parks, for the all-class reunion event. To our police officers for their escort to the parade and being in Smoky Bear Park and downtown during the events that were held there. Received dozens of comments on how great the city looked, how wonderful the parks are being maintained, the comfortable presence of our law enforcement, and certainly hope that all those who did work in cleaning up the city on Sunday morning and were there on Saturday, that they had an opportunity to enjoy the weekend. It was, I believe, a successful event for the community. Thank you. Other reports on the part of the mayor or council committees? If not, we'll go to the audience. Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to approach the council at this time? If not, note that the next regular city council meeting is 3 weeks. It will be on Tuesday, September the 6th, because of Labor Day being on the 5th. On Monday the 5th, yes, thank you. Again, apologize for my voice, and as long as we're got everything completed, we will stand adjourned. Thank you.